Hello everybody, Dead Spikes here, and today I want to make a video talking about firmware on Borderlands 4. Everything I know about it, explain it a little bit, and hopefully give you a better understanding of how it works in this game. There's a few misconceptions when it comes to firmware, and I'm hoping that I can take some of them out and help some of the newer players. So, what is firmware? Firmware is an item bonus that spawns on the bottom of gear. You can see I have Deadeye on this one, Deadeye here, Risky Boots here, and Baker here. This is a later game thing. You will not see it on the earlier game. If you kill a boss, as I will show here, hopefully, he will drop loot, and some of it has a chance to drop firmware. Alright, so let's just kill this boss real quick. Hopefully that does the trick. If you want this build, it is on my YouTube. This is my Sticky Bandit Rafa build. And there we go. That's Driller Hole killed, and you can see he drops a bunch of loot. Okay, that's kind of crazy. I got a legendary. But some of it can drop firmwares, and unfortunately, none of it did. If it does drop firmware, I will show you. I will drop a firmware piece of gear. It'll go into here. Something with the firmware. Here we go. So, a way to tell if something has firmware is the glow it has on it. So, the reason I knew everything here does not have firmware is because you can see they're just straight colored lines. But if you look over here, this has that glitchy effect around the line. See the glitchy effect there? No glitchy effect there. So no firmware on any of these, but on this one, there is. So, you can also get these from chests. So let's go hit this chest over here. And it can only, at this time, spawn on your bottom 5 slots of your character, which is your rep kit, your ordnance, your class mod, your enhancement, and your shield. These 5 slots down here are the only place you can get firmware. I do think it was intended for weapons to have firmware, because 9 out of 9 makes a lot more sense to me than 5. But at this time, we do not have weapons with firmware. I think they will add it later, but we'll see. We'll see. I have no confirmed information on that. That's just my theory. So, other things we need to know about some firmware we're going to go over. First off, let's go over the list. So, this is a very blurry picture, and I apologize. In my Discord, I do have a cleaner picture. But these are all the firmwares I could find online. I'm not going to go through them all. But they have set bonuses. The more you run of each firmware, the bigger bonus you get up to the 3rd tier. As you can see, I am running Deadeye, which is right here. For 1 Deadeye, I get accuracies increased by 30%. For 2 Deadeye, I get critical damage increased by 25%. If I run 3 Deadeye, every critical hit grants 15% critical damage per stack. 5 max stacks for 10 seconds. Alright, so back to the game. A trick I want to show you about firmware. If you want to check out what the set bonus is without looking online and having to equip it, first off, when it is equipped on the side here, you can see the set bonuses. Pretty cool, and it'll tell you how far you are into that set. Now, if you go to your backpack, you can click Inspect on an item, and you can hover over it right there, and you can read the set bonuses. This is normally what I do when I'm picking up gear and wondering what each does. So, after you figure out the set bonuses you want, you gotta farm the gear out, and here's the cool part, is it doesn't need to drop on the piece that you want. In a way. So, it doesn't need to drop in the tier that you want, or the slot that you want. So, if I wanted to put, let's say, Risky Boots on my ordnance, or my crit knife, I could put this onto my crit knife, but I need to find another ordnance that has Risky Boots, and I can swap it on. And there's a bunch of nuance with this that you have to understand. So, this is the transfer machine. You get it after you complete the game, and you do your first Ultimate Vault Hunter mission, I believe. And how this works is you select a piece of gear that has a firmware on it. So an enhancement right here. And now you can pick a piece of gear that can get a firmware moved to it. So how about this one right here? And I am now currently moving Rubber Band Man from this piece to this piece, which is giving me the second piece with rubber band man. I don't really want that right now, but that's how this machine works. And there's a lot of things you need to understand about this. First thing, this item gets deleted in this process. If you click transfer and you do it, this beginning item gets deleted and you lose that whole item. It doesn't just pull the firmware off, you lose it completely. Second thing you need to understand is the item you are pushing a firmware onto can only get switched once. So, after I have finished this transaction, if I click to transfer, I cannot ever switch this firmware on this item ever again. I cannot take Rubber Band Man off, and I cannot put a different firmware on. You can only switch an item's firmware once. So, if you're unhappy with that firmware later on, you're going to have to farm a new version of the said item and then transfer it back onto it. So a big tip I can give you is to look through your gear as you're farming bosses or playing the game. And if you see firmware that you like, pick it up and keep it in your bank for later. If it's in the correct slot or just everywhere. I have lots of Deadeye saved in my bank for all 5 of these slots for if I need to switch up my build in any capacity. There's still a rep kit I really want that I don't have yet, so when I get that, I already have the Deadeye saved for it to put it on. I think almost every build in the game should be running Deadeye 3 right now. I think it's just the best firmware in the game. You should always be trying to crit, and it gives you, let's see, what is that? 75 plus 100% crit damage just right there. That's a lot. The other firmwares are subjective. Do whatever you want. And yeah, if you are looking for some firmwares that you just simply cannot find, my Borderlands 4 Loot House community, which is the Discord in the description of this video down below, probably can help you out pretty quick. We almost at 3,000 members at this moment, and everybody loves to trade and help each other out. I think that's covered everything I would like to cover on firmware. Hopefully I gave you guys a little bit of an understanding, a better understanding. I guess one thing I will mention that gets confused a lot is you cannot put more than 1 point of firmware on a piece of gear. So even though this says 3 out of 3 Deadeye on it, it only has 1 out of 3 Deadeye on it, but since I have 2 other pieces, that's why it's saying 3 out of 3 Deadeye. You can only have up to 1 out of 3 of any firmware on any set item. Cannot have more. Always just 1 out of 3. It's just equipping multiple of the same gives you that higher set bonus. If you guys enjoyed this and you found it helpful, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see some more helpful content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. This is Mike's out.